Welcome to the Principles of Success. My name is Nathan, and this is Season 1, Episode 18. And today we are talking about discipline, specifically delayed gratification. And it is important to remember that delayed gratification is delayed. It's not permanent no gratification. It's just putting it off. When you delay your gratification, you are basically making sure you get what needs to be done today so that way tomorrow you can enjoy tomorrow. That's why I'm trying to do 12 in one day. So that way throughout the whole summer, I can not worry about the principal episodes. I still have to worry about the interviewing the expert episodes and the Motivational Monday episodes, because I don't have those all built up yet. But if I get 12 done today, I won't have to worry about the principal episodes for the rest of the summer, which means I can enjoy the summer because the principal ones are the hardest ones to do. So when you delay gratification, whether it's getting your work done before you go out and party, saving instead of spending all of your money so that way you can propel yourself forward financially, or if it's eating the carrot today so that way you can look better tomorrow. All those things are delayed gratification. You don't get the immediate reward. And the problem with delayed gratification is we always discount the future. A great example of this is, would you like $100 today or $1,000 5 years from now? The further out it goes, the less appealing that is, even though you're going to need $1,000 5 years from now, just like you're going to need $100 today. The only difference is when you get it and how much you're getting. Most people will pick the 100 today, even though intellectually they know that the 1,000 is worth 10 times more, but they also have to wait 5 times as long. Actually, they have to wait way longer than 5 times. Anyway, and that's another reason why goals can be hard, because most goals have delayed gratification. You don't get the reward until the end, and that goes into the prompt reward cycle. This is actually from my research on addiction, but essentially there's addiction and the habit. Great book is The Habit Loop. Look it up, read it, fantastic book. Everyone should read that book. But basically there's three parts of a cycle for every habit and addiction. And that's the prompt, the routine, and the reward. And the prompt can be anything. So I'll just use waking up as the example. The prompt is your alarm clock going off. The routine is what you do when that alarm clock goes off. And the reward is what happens afterwards. The reason why most of you hit the snooze button is because the prompt is the alarm clock, the routine is hitting that snooze button, and the reward is going back to bed. Which is why bad habits are so much easier to create than good habits, because good habits have delayed gratification, bad habits have immediate gratification. The reward for getting out of bed on time is you actually get more energy, you're on time to work, and you can enjoy your morning instead of being stressed out about it. But that's not immediate. That comes later and over a period of time instead of the immediate, I get to go back to bed. And I'll admit, I'm not very good at this one either. I have my phone across the room so that way I have to physically get out of bed to turn off my alarm. The problem is, a lot of times I will still go back to bed even though I got out of bed. So that goes back to the goals. If your goal is something that has long-term gratification, it's sometimes better to include short-term gratification things for every milestone along the way. So let's say you go and do that low bar that we talked about last week, and you complete that. You'll give yourself a reward outside of just the intrinsic reward of doing what you're supposed to. Because your brain doesn't care about that. And you can either get your brain on your side or you can fight your brain. So make sure that the delayed gratification is not necessarily the only reward. But also, delaying your gratification is super important. You can either do the easy things today and have or you can either do the easy things today and have a hard life, or you can do the hard things today and have an easy life. I believe that one I made up my own, but somebody else out there might have had something similar. Another great quote is, "You are taking all the suffering in the future and putting it and dealing with it today, so that way the suffering in the future is easier." That one is from Jordan Peterson. So this one I know is mine, and it is, you can have long-term happiness at the cost of short-term pleasure, or you can have pleasure at the cost of long-term happiness. It's your choice. You need to pick. Do you want to delay your gratification and do what's hard so that way it can be easy, or do you want to do what's hard now so that way your life can be easy? That's why delaying gratification is important, but also, on the flip, make sure that there is gratification as you go through the process, because being miserable sucks, and your brain doesn't like it, and your brain will turn against you, and you'll never achieve your goals if you are miserable while doing your goals. The next thing I want to talk about is commitment, which I already talked about last week a little bit, and it's easier to do it 100% of the way than it is 90% of the way. Because if you're committed to your goals and be willing to go through the hard stuff, then it is a whole lot easier to stay with that decision to your goals. And what was I going? When bumps come along the way, because you're already committed, then it'll be easier to stay on course. That's pretty much it for commitment. I'll talk more about commitment in depth when we're talking about persistence, but that's all I'm going to talk about for now. So the next thing I want to talk about is preparation. Set yourself up to succeed. This is basically knowing that, I'll talk about morning routine. Knowing that you will be tired in the morning, it is easier to prepare the night before. So, for instance, if your morning routine includes going to the gym or going to the store or listening to this podcast in the morning, it is easier to convince yourself to do it by setting it up the night before. So, great example of the gym is having your gym clothes right at the foot of your bed, ready to go, with your shoes ready to go, your socks ready to go, all ready, so that way all you have to do is groggily get out of bed, put your shoes on, and go. My morning routine, when I'm doing really good, is solely successful because I have a good night routine. And in the night before, I will go to YouTube, load up a motivational video. A lot of times I will have a cup of water ready to go as well. And so when I'm doing good, first thing, all I have to do in the morning to get myself going is pick up my phone, put headphones in, hit play. Don't have to research, don't have to think about it. I just hit play, and I drink a cup of water, so I'll go more into that for health reasons, but when we talk about health, but that's the easiest way to get going for me. But if I don't set that up before, then I have to think about, okay, who do I want to listen to? Do I really want to go all the way to the kitchen to get that cup of water? And so on and so on. Because when you are tired, you have less willpower, back to willpower. And you want immediate gratification. So if you don't have immediate rewards, like a refreshing drink and a positive voice in your head, then it's a whole lot harder to stay committed to getting up. Which goes to the last principle I want to talk about, which is controlling your state. It is important. That's why I listen to motivational videos or audio first thing when I wake up. Les Brown talks about the first 20 minutes of your day shape the rest of your day. And he talks about how your brain waves are different. Don't remember all the scientific mumbo jumbo, which I should because I've studied a lot about the brain, but at this current moment I'm not remembering. Anyway, your brain waves are more in tune to suggestion, basically. And when you are you're always listening to voices. You have the voice in your head, you're constantly having dialogue go through your head. But if you're listening to outside voices, that voice in your head gets quieter. You still have thoughts and all of that. But if you're listening to upbeat, positive, motivational people, and your brain is trying to be pessimistic and grumpy because you're tired, it's a whole lot harder for it to do that when you're having constant input of positivity. So that's one way to help control your state. Another way is meditation. Meditation is essentially just sitting and breathing and focusing on the breathing. There's a bunch of theoretical reasons why it works so well, but the two main ones are you're getting more oxygen into your brain because you're focusing on breathing heavily and deeply and fully. So you're getting more oxygen circulating through your body, which helps with all sorts of other stuff. Oxygen is important, people. And the other thing is concentration. You're focusing on one thing and you're drowning out all other thoughts. And when you concentrate and not having that chaos all around in your head, you're calmed and able to focus better afterwards. So there's a lot of documentational, I can't speak, I don't have words. There's a lot of documentation that meditation is very good for you, and some suggest that meditation might be more important than working out. So, and it doesn't have to be very long. A 5-minute meditation is more than enough. If you really want lots of benefits, you can slowly increase that as you go. But if you don't have 5 minutes, you don't have a life. Tony Robbins has a full, unique meditative morning routine that you can listen to for free, and it's very good. And it's not just a passive meditation. He includes body movements and all sorts of stuff. Do whatever you want with that. It's useful and it helps ground you and helps control your emotional state. I already talked about listening to outside sources. The power of suggestion is so powerful when it comes to your brain. Powerful. Blech. When you listen to positive suggestions, you'll become more positive. When you listen to negative suggestions, you become more negative. Don't listen to the news, which is hypocritical of me to say because I love listening to politics. But politics is pretty much all negativity. And if you're struggling to be more positive and enjoy life more, there's nothing more detrimental to that than listening to the news. because it's just full of negative energy, and you don't need that in your life. So push that out. Listen. That's why reading books, listening to speakers, going to conferences, well, that's all important. Not just for the information that you learn from it, but because of the emotional state that you get from it. Getting pumped up is useful. It might not last permanently, which is people's greatest negativity towards it, but a shower doesn't last permanently either. It's still important to shower. It's important to motivate yourself. It's important to get help from outside sources. Listen to books. Remind yourself. Constantly keep reminding yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Because if you stop, then the negative inputs never stop. You have to drown them out with positive inputs. And if you stop putting in the positive inputs, the negative inputs will slowly win. It's basic. Just think of your emotional state like in a bank account. You have money coming in and money going out. If you have more money coming in, which is positivity, than your money going out, which is negativity, you'll stay positive. If you have the reverse, it's the reverse. So make sure that those positive inputs stay constantly. Listen to podcasts, not even necessarily mine. Listen to good podcasts. Mine's kind of amateurish still. Yeah, my tongue is failing me. And then the last thing I want to talk about... Oh wait, I'm still talking about preparedness. When you set goals, make sure that you have the equipment to accomplish those. So like, for instance, I have a nice microphone. I have a nice camera. I have notes. Even though I'm improvising most of this, I still have notes for it. Make sure that you're prepared for it. Make sure that going throughout your day, you're prepared for what comes up. Be prepared. Boy Scout motto. So just be prepared and figure out. Part of preparation is figuring out what you need ahead of time. I needed editing software and all sorts of other stuff. But also, don't necessarily over-prepare as an excuse for procrastination. I use a plastic little cord organizer as my camera stand and 2 buckets. Not fancy, but it works great, and here we are. That's how I've recorded everything. But I could easily buy the equipment needed, but because I needed to get started, I was not going to wait till I had all the equipment that I needed. So be prepared, but don't let preparation be an excuse. And then the last thing I want to talk about today is choose what to sacrifice. You can have anything that you want, but you can't have everything. So pick, what do you want? That goes back to priorities. I am more worried about having lots of energy than I am about staying up another hour to watch another episode of a show. That's my priorities. I have to sacrifice that hour of staying up so that way I have more energy. I have to sacrifice the time it takes to work out. I have to sacrifice sugar because I want to be healthy. I have to sacrifice all sorts of stuff in aims for my goals. So what are your goals and what do you need to sacrifice to get to them? You have to pick. It's your choice. And then stay committed to those. Anyway, I think I'm going to end that here for today, and I will see you all next week.